live.
We live
We are live.
again.
We are.
Good morning.
Good morning, Shawn Young.
I think we did it the wrong way. Usually it's the other way around.
No, see? Good
You
morning,
say good
Shawn Young.
morning. I say good morning. Then I say good morning, everyone. How y'all doing? Back to Focus Fridays.
Yep.
We're gonna figure out whether it's focused or focus, but right now I think that you all know what we mean. It's a special day. This Friday, everyone should know that it's your birthday.
It is
Happy
my
49th birthday.
It is my
Now we need the
birthday.
sound effects like they do on other radio shows.
Oh.
Yeah.
We hit a button. Shh. We don't have buttons yet. But we're going to get buttons. We go whole setup.
Happy birthday, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now you said it's the 49th, but it's really hard to tell with you. There's always a few
Aw.
people like that have that capability where you just ain't really sure.
There have been, there's this one person in particular keeps saying, you can't be more than 31. And I don't know why it's 31. I do
Yeah.
find that interesting. 31.
They might be trying to date you. I'll be
That's
honest with you.
cute.
That's might be going on there.
Okay, well, anyways.
So what's up, everyone? How's it going this morning? I hope everything's going well. We had a couple of nice days that just passed us by, and then now today it's a little bit cloudy. But as I just stated earlier, it's Jamaica's birthday.
It is my birthday.
And we're gonna go over what happened in this area, in this city, place where you were born and raised, place that you love, and you've
Yeah.
said multiple times you never leaving, which is not the, which
Oh
is.
my- You're
Which is
not gonna
neither
let
here
that
nor
go.
there.
We're not gonna. That's gonna be a whole thing. But
Yeah.
it's true. Yeah, 49. So 50-ish years. That's what I've been saying.
Mm-hmm.
Is that I am now almost 50
Mm-hmm.
because I'm 49. It didn't count when I was 48, but now that I'm 49, I'm almost 50. So
Okay.
we're gonna talk about 50-ish
50-ish.
years
I like it.
here in Schenectady, as well as some kind of fun facts, quick facts.
Okay.
Of the last 50-ish years for my birthday.
Awesome. Before we get there, though,
Yeah.
how'd your morning start? How things going?
Roman was awake at 5
Yeah.
to tell me happy birthday. And then I said, I need a couple more minutes. And he was like, okay. And then he came back 2 minutes later. Mom, look, I found
Literally
a
gave you a
shirt.
couple of minutes.
Oh, look, Mom, I found pants. Oh, look. And I'm like, baby, I love you. Could you just go get dressed? And
Yeah.
Amira made me shrimp and grits for breakfast, which was great and yummy. And
I got the
yes.
I got the leftovers. Thank you. I appreciate it.
it was
Definitely
hard not to
appreciate that.
eat all of it.
Mm.
You'll see, it's really good because Amira throws down.
Okay.
So thank you, Mira. And actually, I got an early birthday present. Somebody made me Jamaican rum punch that is sitting nicely in my refrigerator that I'm looking forward to having later.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's good. It's
Y'all don't know what Jamaican rum punch is. Y'all find out.
It's
It's
just it.
worth it. It's definitely worth it.
It is. It is.
So it's your show today. How do you
Well,
want to kick it off? How do you want to get
wait,
started?
listen,
What
we
gonna do?
we are going to stay focused,
Okay.
right? It's Focus Friday, so we're
All
going
right.
to stay focused.
All right.
And make sure that we do our quick facts and have a conversation about
All right.
what has it meant for us. I mean, you're not far behind me. What has it meant for us
Mm-hmm.
in the last 50-ish years? Which fun facts though do you want to actually talk about? Because we did a lot of research about what the last 50 years looked like,
Yes.
both locally and just like in general.
I mean, we talk about home ownership, economic development in our area, the rapid population decline, a population increase, changing of, I guess, a bit of the culture, dynamics, etc. I mean, we've got a lot of facts to talk about, and if we want to go going back to 1974
Ish.
ish. So going back to 1974, if you want to start with economic development. So wait. So
Quick
let's do
facts.
this. Wait.
What are your quick facts?
Quick facts.
What are your quick facts? Remember, we
Um,
had quick facts.
Quick facts. Well, I'm not going to read all of that.
No,
Unless
you-
you want to read some of that.
Which
Wait,
one?
wait, wait.
Which one do you want?
50 years of mayors?
That I figured that'd be the one you wanted. Go ahead.
50 years of mayors?
Tell them.
So, fun fact, 50 years of mayors in the city of Schenectady. We've had 5 different mayors in the last 50 years. 2 of them were Republican. 3 of them were Democrat. All of them were white. 4 were white men. 1 was a white woman. Republicans held, what does that say, from 84 to 92. Democrats since '03.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah. With
So
one little,
it's a bit of a
blip. There was one blip.
one blip.
Yeah, because the white woman was in the middle of Republicans.
Okay.
Yeah.
I seem to remember. I remember her campaign.
Karen.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember it. It was a while ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we had a little bit mixed bag of the parties. Not a mixed bag, I guess, of the investment kind of scheme in the city, right? And that goes into some other fun facts that we have.
Other fun facts. But one of the things that I noticed when trying to keep it a quick fun fact was the changes in buildings, especially in our hood, Hamilton Hill. So when I was little, there was Horseman Elementary School, which was across the street from Carver Community Center.
Okay.
Horseman closed. We all went to MLK Jr. Horseman became Carver Health Center, then Hometown Health, and now it's Hillside View. But in between, it was closed a whole bunch of times. And the changing of buildings was something that I was thinking about. And I don't know if other folks saw any changes either where they live or if you're here in the city of Schenectady, what physical changes have some folks seen? But like particularly that building had a lot of different changes where I think there was a need for it. And then when it closed, it left a gap. And so, but the building kept changing.
Okay.
But Newest Lunch has never changed.
That's one that I didn't even think about.
Yep.
Newest Lunch has been around for a very long time.
100 years or something?
Wow, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Shout out to Newest Lunch, George, and the whole team there. Kenny, who works there, been going there for a long time. Used to be a place of, I mean, it still is, but it used to be even more kind of like all walks of life come to eat at Newest back when I was younger. So
that's where Malia chose to go for breakfast on her 12th birthday just last week. So if 12-year-olds want to go.
Yeah, no.
It
I
must
mean,
be
my
aight.
daughter goes there as well.
Yeah.
So more fun facts.
Yep. 50 years ago, Carver Community Center was thriving on Hamilton Hill. Then it ended up closing, and now, again, it's being reinvigorated by the community itself, right? So shout out to Ray Frazier and Rosa Rivera for all of the hard work they've done, and lots of other folks.
Yeah.
But they've really led the charge to get those doors open again. So that evolution of this staple of a community center that served a predominantly Black community, that then closed and left a hole of support and services for folks that needed it, and the community rallying to say, no, we do need this and we want it back. And so we're on track to see that open again. So that, I think that's exciting.
It just got extended in order to continue fundraising, in order to pull down some of the funding from our local government.
Yep.
So if you're thinking about something to donate to and something you care about in the city, Miracle on Craig is definitely something you should be supporting. It's something that our community sorely needs and hasn't had in some time.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind, before we go into more fun facts, because I think you're about to get into something.
I mean,
well, I wanted no,
we don't
because I
have
wanted to set the, there's a little bit of history, right, that I wanted to kind of like describe for folks when you think about the city of Schenectady. After doing a bit of research, predominantly, 50 plus years ago and beyond, this place was predominantly German, Dutch, and Italian, right? Communities were supported by a major industry, General Electric, which is still here today. At the height, they had 30,000 employees. Imagine that, 30,000 employees. They barely have 10% of that number. Today, it was said that back then you could get out of high school, go work for GE, and start a family, own a home, etc. It was a major, the major force in the capital region, actually, for employment. They built the suburbs in Scotia and Rotterdam. That was because of the money that flowed through and all the businesses that you've seen from that, right? In 1974, 50-ish years ago, was the very first time that General Electric moved their headquarters out of New York into another state. and then every year or so after that, they moved more pieces of their company out of the area, and therefore that impacted jobs. Then you have this community of people who have been kind of living off of that work that begin to leave the inner city and move out into the suburbs. They had already acquired wealth, they had a bit of home ownership, they had some money, so they could do that and transition differently. Then you have a migration of more black and brown folks coming into the community with less economic opportunity. I think it was the ratio was something like 80 to 20 renters
versus homeowners.
Yeah, renters to homeowners. So you had 80% homeowners, something around that number, 20% renters, and then those homeowners left, began renting to us, and now it started to flip flop. And today it's definitely in a completely wrong direction, where you're closer to 70 something percent renters with very very few homeowners, and that's something that we need to see change.
Right, and we're talking about, if we're the political landscape was a Republican held area in the 70s and 80s, right? So we often hear folks talk about which party should be in control because it will be more prosperous for more people if a particular party is in control. I don't think that we've seen either party make the major changes.
Yeah.
And specifically, Republicans were in control when we had the white flight back in the 70s.
I mean, I feel like the parties represent more of a rhetoric difference, but not a practice difference, right? So the investments in our communities that we want to see happen hasn't happened from either side of the aisle in any real significant way. And I think that more and more as people see the hypocrisy that comes out of not just local government, just politics, period. I believe more and more are becoming aware, like, wait a minute, it's not about, like, we got to get away from this idea that if we go for this one or that, like, that's going to be the change. We need people that are going to do the work, right? We need people that are going to do the work and actually bring change. However, it's not just about people doing the work, because we have to do work as well, right? We have to put in the work. We have to know what the issues are. We have to continue to advocate for ourselves and advocate for each other if we want to actually make things happen, right?
I do think, though, that we have seen some shift, right?
Yeah, we have.
Not in the mayoral seat, right?
Not yet. No.
That the mayor's office, whether Republican or Democrat, has still been fairly consistent in how it shows up. Whereas in our city council, it is vastly different today than it has ever been in the last 50 years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We talked about Joe Allen was the first Black person ever elected to the city council. That wasn't really that long ago. It wasn't 50 years ago,
No,
right?
no.
It's very much within our lifetimes. And he was the only one. And that was a sense, I think it's fair to say that you could only have one seat. We could only have one seat. But now, today, as of 2021, right?
Yeah.
We have a majority people of color city council in a city that has I think if the numbers were truly reflective, a majority people of color city. So that is one of those changes I think we have seen is the city council. And we also saw with the ARPA funds distribution, a shift from what used to be the status quo. There was an investment in programs and organizations that are working directly in marginalized communities.
Yeah.
That was something that we hadn't seen in the past when funds were being handed out within our communities. The same individuals, the same organizations got them all the time. And so there has been growth.
I mean, so I guess that's the point of diversity, the point of having folks that have a different perspective, different kind of lived experience coming to the table to be able to, I think, steer some of what that investment looks like. And I'm definitely very grateful for the work for the city council and making sure that those funds were going to places that they hadn't historically gone to, right? Shout out to the whole crew, Damani, Marion, Carl, John, Appreciate the efforts.
John Mudavarian.
John Mudavarian. Appreciate the effort you all are putting in to make sure that our city is taken care of. Of course, we could always do more. Just saying. We could always do a bit more, but keep up the good fight. You know what I mean?
We keep looking at the wrong camera.
Oh, we'll be all
right. But yeah, so in 50 years, those are some of the quick things. One other thing just to mention at the national level, Roe v. Wade supported a woman's right in 1973, just before I was born. And then June 2022, less than things 50 change. Years later.
Yeah, things change. Yeah.
It was reversed, and we see that decision has also created this wave, right, of change, reverting back to the way life was, and rights that individuals had fought for are being reversed. And that's where we are. I wonder, how does that national stage play on what's happening here at the local level, right? Are folks really paying attention? Are they understanding how this is impacting our lives to the degree that sometimes we talk about? Or is it just that, not just, but is part of it, we're all so busy trying to live our lives. There's not always the space and capacity to think, gosh, a woman had the right to have control over her body and now she doesn't.
Yeah.
Right? And then how that affects money for different programs and services.
Nah, I totally get it, man. And I guess it's, I feel like, honestly, when we're talking about being in the middle of survival mode and not being able to focus on certain areas of concern, right, that actually impact you because you got to work 50, 60 hours a week to maintain your bills. You got to take care of your kids. You got to take care of your family or whatever. Like, take care of yourself. And it becomes difficult to kind of like keep your eyes on all the changing political landscape, right? The changing political landscape. But I want to say, like, there's been, in our community anyway, especially in our community, I'll say, not just our community, but especially in ours, we've been in survival mode in a lot of ways for a long time.
Yeah.
And yet people, still showed up, still made the effort, because there's a connection between that advocacy for yourself and your community and I think the quality of life that you want. You just got to be able to make that connection. And like, we're always here to have this discussion, but we want y'all to be a part of this discussion with us, right? We want y'all to be chiming in, listening in, because if you want to change your circumstances, you've got to step up, right? Am I wrong? I feel like
I agree. No, I absolutely agree. And I think what's lost is our history.
Okay.
There was activity, there was advocacy in Schenectady around housing.
Yeah.
50 years ago, right? Listen.
50 years ago, the rent was too damn high. Today, the rent's too high.
Well, in availability, and there were issues around single mothers having access to housing. Mabel Leon's talked to me about it and the work that she did with folks. Like, there is this history, but I think the narrative is, Schenectady's good. We don't have those things here. We don't have protests. We don't have people coming to city council meetings. They want us to forget or to not know. It wasn't just in 2020. Mm-hmm. There is a history of individuals showing up and being outraged and being upset. And in the 70s, that happened in Schenectady as much as it did any place else on the heels of the Civil Rights Act.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, we passed the Civil Rights Act, but I still can't work a job and provide for my family. So folks were frustrated and they were upset. And the other piece, how could I not mention our schools? City of Schenectady has had redistricting a few times in the last 50 years. But in the 70s, across New York State, folks were fighting against desegregation. Niskayuna High School was new.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Folks didn't want their children going to school in the inner city with those kids. Mount Pleasant was where all the black kids went to school, and Linton or Niskayuna High was where white kids went to school.
Yeah.
And even Niskayuna has now seen, more racial diversity in its city, but for the longest time was something like 98% white.
Yeah.
And that comes from schools were desegregated, white folks didn't want it, they fought against it. And then at the state level, the funding showed how they felt about marginalized communities.
Mm-hmm.
And schools were underfunded up until this year.
Until people
Until
like you and so many others across our state, you particularly with the direct lawsuit that you were named in, right? You were named as the person with support from your attorneys
Yeah.
suing the state in order to make sure our kids had funding. You want to talk about a little
Yeah,
bit about
so
that?
it was a 7-year lawsuit that we won 3 years ago, after Kathy Hochul took office.
Yeah.
Where I specifically was representing Schenectady City School District, right? So as a parent, the courts had said, you can't just say everybody. You need to have parents from specific districts. And so I was that parent
Yeah.
that said, yeah, no, our kids need
We need this funding. Yeah.
You're underfunding us based on a previous lawsuit,
Yeah.
the Campaign for Fiscal Equity, that said schools need to have funding based on their needs, and we were being underfunded. And so it was tens of millions of dollars that Schenectady City School District was owed until Kathy Hochul conceded and said, yes, we will fully phase in over 3 years for every school. Because she couldn't just say Schenectady's going to get the money,
Yeah.
right? So she had to say that every school district in New York State was going to receive that money. And this is the first year that Schenectady's receiving its full Campaign for Fiscal Equity foundation aid money for our schools.
So, if you're a parent in the school district, anywhere in the state, but a parent in the school district in Schenectady, and you wondering like where some of this new programming might be coming from,
Yeah.
like that's where it's coming from. And also, I think that it's important to show up at that school board meeting if you have concerns about a lack of programming or some lack or need, because we are finally fully funded, as Jamaica has just stated. And like our kids deserve every opportunity to succeed, every chance to be successful and to like find their way. And now that we have this type of funding that could actually we can staff differently, we can program differently, the curriculum, the trips, all of it. We can make sure that our kids are having a wonderful experience at school, and not as opposed to what was happening before.
Right.
So there's opportunity now. It's basically what I'm trying to say. There's
Yeah,
great
and
opportunity now with the funding, but we need the management of the funding.
Yes.
We need the direction of that money as well, right?
And we've seen more people involved in the budgetary process at the city level as well as within our school district.
Yeah.
Folks saying, hey, here's what we need. Quick reminder, 3:00 today, Gary McCarthy is going to put out his proposed budget for the city of Schenectady.
Should be paying attention to that. Should
and
be paying attention.
The school budget is not going to be far behind. That process, it comes about very quickly. As a school board member is part of my responsibility. The superintendent will present his budget. We review it and we say whether or not we agree how it's being divvied out is how it should be divvied out.
Yeah.
But just like it's been for the last 50 years, the last 100 years, it's like the voice of the people has always made a difference in the decisions being made.
So show up. That's it.
If you need to know when the school board meeting is,
just
just ask.
Follow us on the gram. Follow us on Facebook.
It's next Wednesday.
Yeah, exactly. We'll let you know all you need to know.
Yeah. So it's been an interesting 50 years. What do you think we left out?
I mean, shoot, we've been rocking and rolling, since 2020, Jamaica. So for me, we could talk about that. Like in that 50 years, me and you met, and we met at a different nonprofit group doing this work. We saw the need in our own city to do this work, and it was being neglected, and we came together and have like really, I think, started something that was much needed. We stand on the shoulders of others that definitely came before us. We're not just some unique thing, but I think we're a voice for the community, and we're inspired by our community.
Yeah.
We're inspired by others that do this work. And it's been a hell of a ride. It's been a hell of a ride. It's been a hell of a ride. And I'm thankful for everything that I learned from you, because you definitely taught me a ton in this work. And I don't know if I do the work the same, right? If I didn't have a Jamaica Miles, right, to say is my co-founder, now ED, as official officer
Yeah.
title of the organization. So, I was looking through, I was trying to create a reel for you and all the pictures, and I'll share it later, y'all. You'll see what I'm talking about. But, and you look back at all the rallies, all the community speak outs, all the press conferences, all the panel discussions, all the good times, all the barbecues, all the laughing, smiling, the kids, friends and family, and it definitely it puts things in perspective a bit, right? Just about the importance of just being engaged the way we are.
Yeah.
Because we feel so much, right? We feel so much for other people. We feel so
Yeah.
much for our own and our community. I just say I'm thankful. Right? I'm really grateful for the opportunity to have been around you and doing this thing for so long. So thank you and happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy 49th.
49, 50-ish.
I don't want to put too much on it. We got to do something bigger for the 50th because the 50th is coming up next year.
It's coming quick.
But yeah, it's been amazing, man.
Yeah,
Really.
and I mean, everybody who knows me knows like this work doesn't happen without you. It doesn't. And while I had the honor and privilege of pretending like I was teaching you something sometimes, because the shadow assist lead was like a joke, it's like, never mind, you got it. But also the reason I think we work so well together is because I learned from you as well, right? Yeah. The history, like I knew history was important, but I definitely look at things differently, right? And that's because of you. And so we're going to be here for another 50 years.
Nice.
Right?
Nice.
I mean, that's my goal. 120 is my goal.
500 and some change. I'm trying to figure out the exact. I'm not trying to cap my time here, but I got you.
Yeah.
So we threw our little love fest just now, all of that. And, I don't know what's next for our next Focus Friday. I look forward to coming up with some creative things to talk about. But we have an election coming up.
We do. We
have housing opportunities coming up.
We have an event that's going to be on October 21st. If you're not on our email list, make sure you join. Yes. The link is already there. Also, if you came late to the video, it will be posted to our YouTube channel at All of Us Untitled and Free on YouTube, because all of us should be untitled and free. And the next time we get to come together here is Friday, October 13th, 8:30 in the morning.
Nice. Keep following us. If you're interested in economic development, you're interested in home ownership, you're interested in how to advocate for an issue that you see in your community, whether it's with the city, district, or state. If you just want to find a way to get involved, reach out. Take the time, send us some messages. We'll respond to you. We'll have a conversation. We'll get you involved. And yeah, man, I look forward to that.
I'm adding the email address again.
Nice.
Because, the sound of typing on the video is always nice. But yeah, my birthday's just begun.
It's just begun. It's early. It's early. We should take a before and after photo. Here it is now.
What are you saying?
Later on. That would be crazy.
What are you saying?
I'm just saying. I just had a whole image in my head just now.
The Jamaican rum punch?
No, not just, yes, the Jamaican rum punch. And plus, some of my brothers have birthday parties the last few weeks, and it's been interesting.
That's not going to be my party. No, it's not. It's not. Nope. But I am looking forward to the rest of today and continuing the work. I'm not the veterinarian I thought I was going to be when I was 9.
Okay.
But I'm definitely in a role of helping others. So
that's a beautiful thing. I'm not the fighter pilot, NFL player, basketball spot.
But you do get screen time.
Or corporate business person, because I thought it was going to be like like Eddie Murphy and Boomerang. I swear I was thinking about that dream. I had that dream. Some of y'all watching this, y'all had that dream too. Don't front. You know he was a man. All right.
You got your screen time. You got your
right.
screen time.
Yeah, I do. All right, y'all. Much love.
And
What?
if you want to get me a birthday present, you can just donate to all of us.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Donate to all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll drop the link for that too.
Please do.
All right. So everybody, have a good day. And what else?
Peace.
Later.